Does your dog stretch when they see you? You walk in the door, and there they are, front legs out, tail high, eyes soft. It looks like just a sleepy stretch. But what if I told you it's something deeper, something most of us miss for years, sometimes for a lifetime? You see, in the quiet moments, when no one else is watching, our dogs are speaking. Not with words, but with the small things. A glance, a sigh, a stretch that seems like nothing, but isn't. Especially for those of us who live alone, whose homes are quieter than they used to be, these gestures mean more than we realize. I've spoken with men who've said, "He never plays with that toy unless I'm home." Others have whispered, "After my wife passed, I wouldn't be here without my dog." These aren't just pets. These are companions, guardians. Sometimes they are the last thing anchoring us to this world. And that stretch? It's not just about loosening muscles. It's a bow of recognition, a whisper of love, a signal that says, "You're the best part of my day." Today, we'll uncover what that stretch really means. And if you've ever thought your dog was just being cute, the next few minutes may change everything you thought you knew. Because the stretch, it's not what you think. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it. Most people don't notice it. You walk through the door, maybe after a long day, and your dog drops into that familiar pose. Front paws stretched out, chest low, hind legs high. You think, he must have just woken up. So you walk past, maybe put down your bag, check your phone. But for your dog, that moment is everything. In canine behavior, this pose isn't just a stretch. It's called a play bow. And according to a foundational study by Dr. Mark Bekoff in 1995, it's one of the clearest emotional signals dogs use to communicate safety, excitement, and a desire to bond. It's not physical, it's emotional. When dogs bow to each other, they're saying, "I trust you, I want to connect." And when they do it to you, the moment you walk in, it's not a stretch, it's a celebration. I've spoken to countless people, many living alone, who tell me their dog does this every single time they return home. One man told me, "He never does it for anyone else, just me." That isn't coincidence. That's connection. That's love. Biologically, this behavior releases oxytocin, the same hormone that deepens emotional bonds between humans. But unlike us, dogs don't say it out loud. They bow. And when we miss it, when we ignore it, it's like walking past someone who's been waiting hours just to hug you. Imagine a child holding up their arms and saying nothing. Waiting. Hoping. That's what your dog is doing. That stretch is a request, an invitation. Please see me. Please feel what I feel. Now, here's the part most people never realize. When we acknowledge the bow, even for 30 seconds, with touch, with play, with eye contact, something shifts. Your dog's entire emotional state recenters. They feel seen, valued, secure. But when we walk past, they feel dismissed. And while dogs are endlessly forgiving, each missed moment is a thread left untied. That's why this stretch matters more than we think. Not because it's unusual, but because it's so ordinary, so easy to overlook. And yet, within it lies the purest kind of affection, silent, sincere, and waiting at the door. So the next time you walk in and see that pose, stop, kneel down, say something simple. Maybe just, "Hey buddy, I see you." Because to your dog, that stretch isn't just a stretch. It's the loudest "I love you" they know how to say. You close the bathroom door, And there they are, just outside, sitting, waiting, sometimes staring through the crack, sometimes whining, and sometimes they simply push their way in and sit quietly beside you. It feels awkward, maybe even a little annoying. But to your dog, this moment isn't about privacy. It's about protection. In the wild, animals are at their most vulnerable when relieving themselves. That's when predators strike. That's when danger feels closest. And in a pack, others stand guard during those moments, not because they're nosy, but because they care. Your dog doesn't see a closed door the way you do. They see it as a barrier between you and safety, a wall they can't see through, can't sense through. And that makes them uneasy, because deep down their instinct kicks in. My person is in there, and I can't protect them. So they wait, right outside, alert, loyal, unmoving, not because they think you're in danger, but because, just in case, they'll be ready. I once spoke with a retired veteran who told me, "He follows me everywhere, even to the bathroom. It used to bother me. Then I realized he thinks it's his job to keep me alive." That hit me. For many people, especially those who've lost someone, who live alone, this silent form of watchfulness becomes deeply comforting. It's the presence of something that never leaves, a quiet protector in the background, saying without words, "Don't worry, I've got your back." And here's the beauty of it. Your dog would rather be uncomfortable, sitting on cold tile, than leave you alone. That's not just loyalty, that's love at its purest. So next time you see those eyes peeking through the door, or feel their warm body curled up by the tub, remember, this isn't about boundaries. It's about belonging. It's about one heart standing guard for another. It's one of those things we don't talk about. Your dog starts licking your feet, and you pull away. It tickles. It's weird. Sometimes it just feels gross. But what if I told you it's one of the deepest emotional check-ins your dog can offer? Dogs don't just smell us, they read us. Through scent, sweat, and subtle hormonal shifts, they can detect where we've been, how long we were gone, and more importantly, how we're feeling. Inside your dog's mouth is something called the Jacobson's organ, a special sensory system that connects directly to the brain's emotional processing center. It doesn't just register smell, it interprets it. And when your dog licks your feet, especially after you've had a long day, they're reading your state of mind. One man told me, "After my wife passed, I didn't talk to anyone for weeks, but my dog wouldn't stop licking my feet. It was like he was trying to keep me from falling apart." That's not an accident. Dogs often use licking as a way to comfort, to soothe, to connect. It's a behavior rooted in early puppyhood, when mothers lick their pups to bond and regulate their emotions. So when your dog licks your feet, they're not just being quirky, they're checking in. "Are you okay? Did something happen? I'm here if you need me." You might not answer aloud, but they feel it anyway. And if they lick more than usual, it might mean they've picked up on your tension, your sadness, your silence. They don't know how to ask what's wrong, so they reach out in the only way they know how. Not every therapist has a couch. Some sit at your feet. So next time your dog does this, pause. Don't pull away. Maybe sit down, maybe say something soft. Because in that odd little moment, your dog is doing something extraordinary. They're telling you, "I feel you. I'm here. And I won't leave." You're sitting quietly. Your dog walks over, turns around, and shows you their back. No eye contact, no tail wag, just stillness. And if you're like most people, you might wonder, did I do something wrong? Is he upset with me? But the truth is, this might be the highest form of trust your dog can offer. In the wild, turning your back means surrender. It's vulnerability. It's a statement that says, I know you won't hurt me. No predator would ever dare do that. No animal takes their eyes off danger unless they feel completely safe. So when your dog, Misread, turns their back to you, they're not rejecting you. They're leaning into you, trusting that you're the safest place in the world. I once spoke to a man in his 70s who said, I lost everyone, my wife, my brother. I've only got my dog left, and he sleeps with his back pressed against me. I think he's saying, I trust you more than anyone. And I believe he's right. This act may seem small. It may even go unnoticed. But to your dog, it's an emotional release, a decision to let down their guard, to rest without fear. And here's something you can do, something simple but powerful. The next time this happens, place your hand gently on their back. Just let it rest there for a moment. No words, no command. That touch tells them, I've got you too. For someone who's lived long enough to lose things they once held dear, this kind of connection, this unspoken agreement, it matters. It reminds us we're still needed, still trusted, still part of something sacred. Because trust, when it comes quietly, is the most beautiful kind of love. It's easy to miss. You're reading the paper, watching the news, lost in your thoughts, and suddenly, there it is. A slobbery toy, a half-chewed squeaky bone, or maybe a worn-down tennis ball dropped quietly at your feet. Most of us assume he wants to play. And sure, sometimes he does. But more often than not, this moment is bigger than that. In the animal world, resources, food, shelter, toys, aren't just possessions. They're survival. And to offer them up freely, that's not play. That's love. That's respect. When your dog brings you their favorite toy, they're not just inviting you to interact. They're saying something deeper. This is my favorite thing, but I want you to have it because I love you more. It's a behavior rooted in pack bonding. Among wolves and wild dogs, the act of sharing prized objects reinforces social ties. It says, you're one of us. I trust you with what I treasure most. I remember speaking with a widower who said, he never touches that toy when I'm gone, but the minute I walk in the door, he runs to it, like it's the only way he can say he missed me. That's not coincidence. That's ritual. That's devotion. And it's not just toys. Some dogs bring socks, shoes, even sticks or bits of laundry. To us, these things seem random, but to your dog, they smell like you. They feel like you. Offering them is a way of saying, here's a piece of me. Take it. Hold it. Know that I'm thinking of you. And here's something to consider. When you accept the offering, when you pause what you're doing and acknowledge the gift, even if just with a smile or a thanks, buddy, you validate their affection. You strengthen the bond. You tell them, what matters to you matters to me. Because for a creature that can't speak, sharing isn't about the object. It's about emotion. So the next time you find a toy at your feet, don't just toss it aside. See it for what it really is, a love note wrapped in rubber and slobber. A reminder that even on the loneliest days, someone chose you, and chose you again, and again, and again. There are moments with our dogs that don't seem like much. Quiet moments, strange ones. The sock gone missing. The dog sprawled across the doorway. That long, drawn-out sigh that echoes through the room. But in these subtle acts, something sacred is happening. A conversation. A kind of love that asks for nothing, but means everything. Let's start with the sock. You've likely found one in their bed, or caught them running off with it in their mouth. You scold them, laugh a little, maybe snatch it back. But what you might not realize is, this isn't mischief. It's memory. Your socks carry the strongest trace of you, your scent, your warmth, your essence. And when you're gone, that sock becomes comfort food for the soul. It's a stand-in, a surrogate, a soft, smelly way to say, you're still here, even when you're not. I once heard a man say, after my better half passed, my dog started sleeping with her scarf every night. That's not destruction. That's devotion. That's grief shared in silence. Then there's the doorway. Ever trip over your dog lying right in the middle of it? Every time you step over them, you think, why here? Why always in the way? But for your dog, doorways are everything. They're transition points, sight lines, strategic positions. From there, they can see where you are, where you're going, and be ready. Ready to follow, to protect, to be part of every move you make. They're not blocking your path. They're placing themselves in the center of your world. It's their way of saying, I'm not letting you out of my sight. For those of us who've known the ache of being left behind, that kind of loyalty matters more than words can say. And finally, the sigh. You know the one. That deep exhale when your dog lies down beside you. The sound that fills a quiet room like a small confession. It can mean peace. I'm content. You're here. I can rest now. It can mean release. I've been waiting all day, but now you're home. Sometimes it means nothing more than this. I trust you. But the most powerful sigh? It's the one they make after you've been gone for a while. You walk through the door, and before they even bark, they breathe out, low, heavy, long. That's not boredom. That's relief. That's the emotional reset. That's their way of saying, now that you're back, I can breathe again. These little things, the sock, the doorway, the sigh, they're not quirks. They're poems. Quiet declarations of love, whispered from a heart that never stops waiting, never stops watching, never stops hoping you'll notice. And maybe, after today, you will. You're not just a dog owner. You're someone's whole world. To your dog, you are the rhythm of the day, the sound that means safety, the face that means home. Every stretch, every sigh, every quiet act you used to ignore was never random. It was never just behavior. It was a message that says, I'm here for you, always. We live in a world where words often fall short, where silence can be heavy, and loneliness louder than we admit. But dogs don't need words. They speak with their bodies, their eyes, their breath. And when they stretch, the moment you come home, they're not just moving muscles, they're moving toward you. So now that you know, what will you do with that knowledge? Will you pause at the door? Will you meet their gaze? Will you whisper something soft? I see you too. Because moments like that don't last forever. But they can be everything while they're here. Tell me, what does your dog do that touches your heart the most? Was it the stretch? The sigh? The sock tucked under their paw? Leave a comment. Share your story. You never know who needs to hear it. And if this meant something to you, our next video will go even deeper into the quiet world of canine love. Because sometimes, the smallest gestures carry the loudest truth. And no matter how old we get, we all deserve to be loved like that.